Hello everybody, I'm Donna from Purple Pinky Promises. Welcome. For once, I'm early. Yay! Welcome, welcome. Tonight, let me grab the chat and see who's here. If you are here, say hello and I'll get started. Hi, Candy. Yay, welcome. Oh, I miss you. I miss you, dear friend. I hope things are well for you. Got to see Missy this last weekend, so don't be mad at me. I know you wouldn't be. Anyway, all right. Well, I have Candy here, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to kind of walk through what we're using today. I'm going to be using some Dare to Be Artsy square framelits, rectangle framelits. Maybe for the background or card front on the rectangle framelits, I don't know, we'll see, but I do know I'm going to use it for the square framelits for the sentiment. I am going to use the BetterPress here tonight, and you'll see that here in just a minute. This one is the Plaid, Buffalo Plaid plate, which comes in pretty handy. It would be really nice at Christmas to have that. And I'm also using the Altenew Sweet Lilies and Sisters of the Heart. Now, I am not going to be using some of the other products that do come with and coordinate, well, not come with, but coordinate with this. Oh, thanks, Candy. But there are stencils and dies. Oh, that's right, you are. Oh, gosh, I keep forgetting that. Gosh, yes, we've talked about this a million times. I hope you're doing very, very well and recovering very quickly. Yes. Take care of yourself. Don't come see me till you're ready. But these have stencils and dies that coordinate. We're not using stencils and dies. We're just using stamps only tonight for a very simple but elegant looking card. And I have actually gone ahead and stamped to kind of show you where this whole idea kind of starts. So sorry, I've got some glitter drops here, the leaf color from Pinkfresh. I have Sea Glass ink from Catherine Pooler. And I have, it's kind of interesting, it's called Steel Blue, but it's more green than anything to coordinate with all of our colors here. So I will get to work on this in just a minute, but I'm going to kind of tell you where this all stemmed from. This last weekend, we did an event with Cindy from Dare to Be Artsy. Hi, Lindy, welcome. And I miss you too. Oh dear, I do. So this is the card that they created at this last event. And I kind of talked to them about how you could get a 2-for-1. Well, tonight I'm going to actually show you the 2-for-1. This makes a really pretty little top folding card, but on the back, how special is that to have that really pretty, whoops, I'm going to throw it here, really pretty design. And then you can, you know, whatever you do to make your cards personal, your little stamp and your signature, whatever it is you do there. But this is what they created. I'm gonna walk you through that. I've already done the stamping though for this, and the reason I did that was so that I could get a good feel for the color that I was working with. And but I'm gonna stamp again. I'll be stamping again. Just hold on here and I'll walk you through that. So, yay! So what we have here is we have the Stamp Wheel 2.0, and I have pulled out this whole stamp, which is from Sweet Lilies. So you can see here, it's on my plate. I also have a sentiment from Sisters of the Heart that's on here. I'm gonna actually pull that off because I've already stamped it and I'm not gonna use it again, but that's this here, and it says friends are our chosen family. I'll die cut it when it comes time, and we'll just kind of put together. Actually, we'll end up with 3 cards at the end, but without further ado, I wanted to get down to brass tacks and talk to you about what we have here. So this piece of cardstock measures 4 1/4 by 11. Isn't the fold gorgeous? I love it too, Lindy. It absolutely, when I got this idea actually from Altenew themselves. I believe it's JC or Jace. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. He actually did this on a full sheet, and I thought, oh, what a clever idea. So I kind of picked out a stamp and tried it out, and I loved it so much. The simplicity, but yet the elegance of it is absolutely beautiful. Altenew has a lot of big stamps, and this stamp wheel is perfect for that, and I'm going to show you why. So this is, like I said, a very large stamp, and I have stamped this one, and this measures 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to stamp it again. Now, for the purposes of the event, I marked where our paper needed to go. I'm just going to show you. It can come off with some rubbing alcohol, but I did mark it where I thought it would be best for us to put it. So this thing is so dandy. This arm comes off, and now we can take our paper and go off the edge. And I'm going to show you how neat that is to do. So I'm just lining it up. I'm going to show you. I'm just lining it up between my little marks so that we can have the same results over and over. And just give it a little press so it's gripped and it's not going anywhere. And I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to take this stamp off because I've already used it. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different sentiment. And I've picked a sentiment from this that I thought, oh gosh, I like this one. This one says, that other one says, friends are our chosen family. I know we all have friends that are like that. I have one right here. Hi, Linda, miss you. Yay. We all have friends that are like that. Like, if we were to pick our family, that would be my family. Like, I didn't have a sister, but Miss Lindy, gosh, doggone it, she's my sister, chosen. And this one says, no distance of place or passage of time can lessen the value of friends who know each other's worth. Isn't that beautiful? This set just has the most beautiful sentiments on it. And so this is the one I'm going to use. I'm going to grab a piece of paper here, and I'm just going to pop it in the corner, and I'm going to pick it up with my stamp, so, or with my wheel. I'm going to, eyeball it as straight as possible. So this time, instead of having my little circle, you see my circle, which would normally go up here at the top, this time I'm going to do it up here. I'm doing it a little bit different, and that's the beauty of this thing. You can do it wherever you want it. And so now my center point is right up here. And I am going to bring this up so y'all can see what I'm doing. So I'm picking up this stamp. I'm down in here. Everything's picked up. And I'm going to take it, and I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to ink it up. And this is the first, well, no, maybe not the first time. I actually may have done a live using that sentiment before. It's just so pretty. I love it so much. I'm going to ink this up. It's just been a while since I've used it. And the pad is pretty juicy here. Oh, I know. I'm telling you, I saw that today and I just started crying. Okay, I have to tell you what's going on. Miss Lindy and I we did an ATC exchange for so many years, for many, many years. And this last weekend we did an ATC exchange. And I had some customers that were in here. I was putting stuff away. I'm still putting stuff away from the event. And they they said, what is an ATC exchange? And they were asking me questions, and I pulled out all my little ATCs. I have an old Velveeta box that I repurposed, and I decorated it and put some pretty paper on it, and I pulled out the ATCs to show them what Lindy and I used to do, and then talked about how we did it in person and exchange in person anyway. And I pulled out one of her ATCs. Oh my gosh, you guys. Maybe I had forgotten, but on that ATC was some very personal, she had put some really personal things on there that were very meaningful to me. Anyway, it made me cry, and so I sent her a message, and then now we both got each other crying. So it was just so sweet. Okay, so now I have stamped. There it is. Voila. Okay, I'm going to clean this off. So one of the things that, and I want to talk to you about is when you're stamping with this, you need to make sure that you're in the grooves. And I know I've showed this to you on live before, and I'm going to show you one more time that I am down here in the grooves, just like so, here and here. I'm in the groove. And then I just press it down, and it goes right into place down into those grooves. I'm not pushing it down now because my stamp is wet and I don't want to ruin my image because I'm happy with it. So there that is. I am going to stamp another sentiment. I don't need another floral, so I'm actually going to take this all off, and I'm going to stamp another sentiment. I thought, how neat. Let's get 3 different types of sentiments on here going. This is going to actually end up being the one where I create 2 cards from it. So I hope you're doing well, Linda. Missed you. Okay. Let's see. Take that, put that down there, and let's pop this off. And this is where I could switch over to the regular stamp wheel, but for the purposes of simplicity, and this is already here, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. So we're going to create 3 monochromatic cards. I've picked out some colors that feel like work pretty well together. So I'm going to do sending hugs, or maybe not, yeah, sending hugs, and then I'm going to do this little sub-sentiment that says love and support, sending hugs, love, and support your way. Yeah. So let's grab another. I'm going to get some more paper here. I'm just going to sit it here in the corner. Make it easy. Sending. There's a die. I believe there's a die. I should probably check that before I get all excited. Yep, sending love, hugs, and support your way. So yes, we're going to die cut this, and then we're going to do a sub-sentiment here. I've spread it all out, yeah. I sure did. So I'm going to take this. 1 second, folks. Make you dizzy. All right, here we go. So I'm going to show you. So I'm getting it down into this little groove down here first. I have not pressed it down. And then I am going to let it go. And now it's going down into these grooves up here. Sometimes it's a little tight at first. It eventually is no longer tight after you've used it a few times. It gets really smooth to push down. So we're going to go back here with some sea glass, and I'm just going to ink this up. It is the first time that I have used this stamp. I probably should have conditioned it. So we'll probably have to stamp it a few times. That's okay. I just forget about that. It's going to be blotchy. It's not going to be like perfect. Well, come on. Uh-oh. There we go. It's not very pretty. I might, I'm thinking of it. I think I'm gonna use some different paper too, because that's a really small sentiment. Those words are small. I have some different paper that I kind of like to use with this ink when sentiments are small like that. It's not so... Let's try this again. I'm only tapping, not pressing hard. Let's do this. Let's see if this is better. A little bit better. A little bit. I'm gonna do the sending hugs again, and I think we should be good. You see how that's starting to get better now that the stamp has been used several times. It's not going to be as blotchy, but you can always just re-stamp. There we go. And I have a spot that's not stamping very good on that H. Just get some ink on there, right here. All right, so I have a way to fix that. It's kind of blotchy, but I have a way to fix this. And if you have a, it's called a blender pen, and you dip it in the ink, you can kind of fill in those little white spots sometimes, and I'm gonna actually end up doing that, and I'll probably get to that. I'll do it after the live. I'm not gonna go grab that stuff right now, but it kind of helps fill in those spots. And it might just actually spread out while it dries too. So, okay. Here we go. Now, now we're die cutting. And yeah. So for this first card, I am literally going to, let's see, I'm gonna score this first one in half at 5.5, and it's as easy as that. So I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna measure at my edge over here at the left. Scoot this up where you can see it a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna scoot it up here to 5.5, and this is my, almost did it wrong. Guys, that was my cutting blade, not my scoring blade. So I'm going up here to 5.5, right here, and I'm taking my scoring blade and I'm just scoring it right here, just like that. That's all. Scoring 5.5. As easy as that. Bring that in. I wonder if I have my phone folder here. Okay. Where's my card? Okay, see how we are, where we are here? All right, now to make that even, not to make that even, but to get this little edge off of here, I'm gonna come down here to my blade, oopsie, and I'm gonna cut at 2, turn it around, 1 3/4. 1 3/4. 1 3/8. Well, if I could get my measurements right, that would help. 1 3/8, and that's the 2 lines before the half, before the 1.5. So see how that's gonna work? That's gonna trim that right off. Okay, that's 1 3/8. And now we have it just like so. Voila. All right. That's gone. And we could have probably, no, that wouldn't have been big enough for our sentiment. Now I'm gonna take care of the inside of this. But before I do that, I am going to take this and I'm gonna cut it at 5.5, just like I scored it, I'm gonna actually cut it. And now we have a 2-for-1. Now, you could actually cut down further. You could go down further this way. I mean, you could do whatever you want. Typically, we're, 5 1/4. We could go 5 1/4 this way, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this right down at the middle and go 5 1/2. So we're getting a 2-for-1. When you stamp this whole image, you're getting a 2-for-1 or a little fold over, just like that. So now we have this, and I'm actually gonna trim it down some more. But I'm gonna do that later, based off of my plaid. I'm gonna use my plaid on that. So this one, I'm also gonna use plaid, but I'm actually gonna cut it down also. So now I'm gonna cut, I'll come back to cutting, and I thought maybe I might, let's see, I might use these rectangle framelits for this. I had a thought that I might, using the second largest, I thought maybe I would cut at about right there. I just might do that. And I think I will. Or I could do the next, I might go to the next size down. I think that would be pretty. So, just an FYI, no, I think that would be really pretty. I don't know. I might not use these. I think I've changed my mind. I'm not going to use the rectangle framelits. I'm going to do this differently. Okay, we're going to skip ahead. Got all my bits and pieces here. And I'm going to skip ahead to the BetterPress. So we're going to need 2 buffalo plaid backgrounds. And you'll see why here in just a minute. So I have my first piece that I am going to, so this is all just one color, which is the sea glass. Making this, her dye, I love her dyes. I absolutely do. We'll go back to that. I just decided I'm not gonna use it. I'm not gonna use it as the frame. I've changed my mind. I kind of have something else different in mind here. So I'm just gonna put my paper here, center it on my BetterPress plate. If you don't have one of these, guys, I don't know if anybody has ever told you that you cannot use any other ink but the Spellbinders, and that's kind of how it advertised at first. We've played around here and we've figured out that you can use, this stuff is amazing. This Catherine Pooler ink is amazing with the BetterPress plates. I've noticed that there's a lot of absorption, that these plates kind of suck in the ink. So make sure if you're gonna do it, you have a re-inker on hand before you do. Okay, I just wanna let you know, I have some removable adhesive that I've already, this is still on here from this last weekend, so I have some sticky on here that just rolls right off. But I'm gonna pick up my paper, oh heavens to Betsy, and I still have ink on it, this plate from last weekend, but it's on the opposite side, so it's going to be just fine. So now I'm gonna ink this up. And I'm just gonna take my, my ink pad and I'm just gonna go tap, tap all across here. So what I'm focused on here with this plate is I'm focused on these squares, and I wanna make sure my squares have enough ink on them. So we'll be doing 2 of these. I will have to clean it off. You'll have to be patient with me here. I'll have to clean it off again because I wanna put my paper down on it and I don't wanna ruin it. So here we go. I'm gonna get my Spellbinders. Ready to go here. And notice I'm picking it up by the handle, not touching. I am not touching the plate. And the reason is there is a smidgen of give, just a smidgen of give in these plates. So you don't want to touch the plate. You want to use the handle and the underneath part. There we go. And I'm just rolling this through. I'm just taking the handle and pushing it right on through. Just rolling it. Okay, here we are, and see how I'm lifting it underneath? All right, and I'm just literally just removing the plate. I'm lifting it up, and look at that. You guys, perfect results nearly every single time. Now, this is regular cardstock. It's 100-pound white. It's what we sell here in the shop. It did not make an impression, but by golly, it sure made a beautiful stamped image, and you don't have to put your foot on it to get it even, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And Lindy knows what I'm talking about. So we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna move this aside, out of the way, so that we can do this again, cleaning up, and my hands are gonna get green. So here we go. If y'all can deal with my green hands, just clean up. So you do want to have a cloth, a dry cloth, so that you can dry it off. One of the things you do not want to do is rub your ink pads, especially these foam pads, over these plates. They're a little rough. You can ruin your ink pad if you do anything rough with it, but if you do the tap, 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 just like I showed you, you'll be just fine. It won't hurt your ink pad. So I'm grabbing something to dry this off with, to make sure we're all good and dry. And there we go. All right. And now that this is dry, I'm gonna pull this up and show this to you. How gorgeous is that, you guys? So if you want the impression, you're gonna need to use, Candy was asking, how do you make the impression? So you're gonna have to use specifically Spellbinders BetterPress paper, or you can use some watercolor, some nice watercolor paper. That would give you the impression for sure. Okay, so that is just like a stamped image. The nice thing about starting with the BetterPress system is that if you want to move up to glimmer, your plates that you've purchased and used for your BetterPress will actually work in your glimmer machine, and you can have nice, beautiful hot foil images. All right, let's do this again. I'm gonna just put my paper down, get this centered on here. I'm gonna pick it up, and while we're on it, while we're on the subject, I am taking, you can now subscribe to the BetterPress Society. We are now doing BetterPress Society here at Purple Pinky Promises. We're doing it July through December. If you go to our homepage, you can see where you, it's right next to BetterPress, and it says sign up for BetterPress Society right next to the BetterPress tab. So it's on our homepage, all those tabs that are at the top, or if you're on your mobile device, there's those 3 lines up at the top right. You click it and you scroll down until you see it. And it is, you do have to make a 6-month commitment. You can unsubscribe after 6 months, but what you get is a nice little discount on your plates for 6 months. And we also have little perks here at our store. We're gonna be doing all kinds of stuff with it. We're gonna have a kickoff party. And our kickoff party will be, I believe it's the 3rd week in July on that Friday. It's on the website. So we're gonna have I'm gonna serve a light meal, and I'm gonna actually have 2 cards for you, 2 samples for you to create. Your plates will be here to pick up. You'll bring your BetterPress system. We have our Big Shot, and we also have the Spellbinders. It works with the Big Shot. So we'll have that here, and you can roll through and do all the samples. We'll also have a door prize, and we're just gonna have fun. Eat, craft, get prizes. Get a prize. What else do you want? And discounts. I mean, seriously, who could ask for more? So check that out on our website. I will link. I did place a link to that on the floral rainbow that I did last time here on YouTube. There is a link to our BetterPress society sign up, that is. So I will place a link to it on this live as well, on the replay, that is. Okay, let's do it. Let's get this rolled through. Let's do another one. I'm picking it up with the handle and roll her through. Just push and turn your handle. That's all you have to do. There's nothing special to this at all. So easy. I think a lot of you were able to do this weekend. Noticed how simple it was to use this. Use your own cardstock for stamped images. Use the BetterPress paper or watercolor paper for impressed and stamped images. Beautiful. Perfect results. It's gorgeous. Does this too with their paper and watercolor paper as well. I think I demoed that last week on that live. Check that out. Wasn't last week, but the week before. That floral rainbow turned out so pretty. All right, I'm gonna let this one kind of dry off a little bit, and I am actually gonna use this one, and I'm gonna cut this one down at 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna cut this to 1.5, and I have a 1.5 over here to this on this right side. So I'm just gonna use that measurement down there and cut off 1.5. Woo woo, as easy as that, 1.5 inches. We got a little strip to work with. I will be playing with this too on one of those cards. So what we're doing is recreating this card right here. Easy peasy. I used these square framelits, and I used the 3rd largest, lined it up inside of here, just so, and I ran it through the die cut. Just a little tweaking here. Oops. Use some tape. I'm actually going to use my smaller. I just don't feel like getting the big one out here for this tiny little thing here. It's so much easier. I'll probably end up using this for my sentiments. All right. We'll run this through. Maybe, I think I'm twisted. There we go. Come on. Oh, these are thicker. These dies are a little bit thicker. Okay, guys. Maybe I need to go the opposite direction. This way. Let's try that. Make it a little bit better. Cindy's dies are really good quality. I have a little bit of a bow in my plate, so that's probably what it was. Okay. Hip hip. that is done. And we're scored. So, we have all of our pieces for this first card. I'm gonna set them aside and I'm gonna assemble at the end. So let's get to this next card. I'm gonna go ahead and do the die cutting for this one as well. I believe I decided I wanted to use these rectangle framelits for that. I think I decided this one would work. Yes. So, take these, reuse these, sometimes getting them centered on here when you stamped crooked. Good. And I'm just going to run them all through. I think I was right in that my sentiments kind of smoothed out. This one. Yeah, they smoothed out quite a bit. All right. So, where'd those go? Sending hugs. Where are you, sending hugs? You're in here. How did I decide on love and support your way? Just gonna pull these out. You'll notice about me, I do not like these things. If you know me well enough, I cannot stand these plastic. They drive me nuts. And if I had to work in a factory where you put those things, put stuff together with those, I'd be fired because I would be tearing them left and right accidentally because I don't do well with them. Okay, let's cut these off. And also something you probably learned from me if you attended the event, I'm a very messy crafter. Incredibly messy. Everything goes everywhere. I probably heightened some people's anxiety by doing a demo. That was fun. Okay, some more. What we got going on here? Do some tape. Come on. All right. Might be a good idea to tear the tape before I put on the die. It's a good one. I think maybe another, yeah. I'll just use some tape here. Sometimes this tape is a little too sticky for my liking, depending on the kind of paper. This works great on the Spellbinders cardstock, but sometimes it can tear off. If you're not careful, if you're in a hurry and you're trying to get your tape off and get your project rolling, it can tear. So be careful with this yellow tape. So I'm just taping down my dies. And let's see. I did pull out, I don't know that this one's big enough though. it is not. But I can always readjust this one and make it smaller. So I think I will do that. So, take that down. I'm gonna run it back through and make this smaller. I'll show you what I mean. If you don't know what I mean by that, okay, let's do it. Let's die cut. Let's get them all done. These are probably one of the most used dies in my stash. These are called the Mini Borders die from Dare to Be Artsy. Love those dies. All right. Here we go. Let's see. We can do, I could probably get 2 of those on. Can I get one of these on? No. Here we are. On. All right. Sentiment number 1. Done. These we can put on 2 at a time. There they are. Okay. I was like, what did I do with that? These are done. And last one. Woohoo! So, I'm gonna run these back. I said I was done, but I'm not. I'm gonna run these back through. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna kind of feel for where, and I'll also look and see where I'm at too. Oh, I have a, oh no. I got it too far over. Okay, we're gonna solve that. But what I was about to show you, I have a torn edge there, or not a torn edge, but a wonky edge. Something I didn't notice. I guess I got too close to the edge. But you can if you feel it and it doesn't move, like it's in the groove, you tape that down and you have it, you'll have that. The size, you'll be able to resize that. But we're not doing that because, you see my edge there? I must have like had it weird. I don't know what happened. So we're just gonna trim it like this then. Just gonna do this. And we're just gonna do this. Sometimes we have to punt. Can't always have what we want. Well, that looks weird. Why couldn't you cut straight? Here we go. It still looks wonky. It's not as pretty and rounded, but it'll work. There we go. Yeah, it'll work. It works. Okay. So this is one card, and I am gonna set those aside and kind of work on what they're going to look like. All right, so we have a full background, and I am just gonna do a full plaid background, and I was thinking that it would be really pretty with one of these images to just kind of cut this down and kind of make it the center focal point. and perhaps just putting a nice little simple sentiment on there. I just think that would be really pretty. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna cut this down to the size that I want it. I'm gonna go with 3 3/4. We're gonna have a nice border around this. We're gonna go with 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm gonna cut this at, I may do more. Do you wanna go 4 3/4? No, I am gonna go with 5. So I'm gonna take off, whoops, wrong place. Let's take it down here, 5. And we're gonna go 3 3/4. So 5 by, and what I might have to do is just take off 1/4 from each side, is what I think I will do. So let's come down here. Let's go to 4 on this side, and let's go to 4 on this side, or 3 3/4. Excuse me, 3 3/4, not 4. 3 3/4. So this now measures 5, and this measures 3 3/4. So it kind of sits really nicely in the center here, really pretty. And we can take a ribbon across the bottom here. That would be really pretty. And then just kind of like that. And where did my sentiment go? Just a simple little sentiment right here. Kind of comes over a ribbon. Oh, I like that. And that, and with some gems, and that card is done. It's a simple little card. So that one's ready to assemble. And now on this last one, where'd you go? Where's my pieces? There it is. So we don't have a whole lot. So I thought it would be really nice if we used the rest of our plaid that we cut off for one of the cards. We cut off 1 1/2. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with, this is gonna be the top. And I'm gonna just kind of do a nice, easy measurement of 3 inches here. Bring it down again, because that's where my blade is. So I'm just gonna do simple 3 inches, okay? Which means that my card, if I'm doing a full card front with it, it needs to be, to make it a full card front, it's gonna need, if this is 3 inches, I'm gonna need to go with 2 1/2 inches. So I'm gonna cut 2 1/2 inches off of this. So bringing this down to 2 1/2 inches. And I'm just gonna cut it off. And there it is. So, I might do it that way. Now I have a full card front. One of the things that might make it a little bit difficult, because I'm thinking about, I'm gonna put my ribbon on there. I'm gonna need to attach these two together to make it easier to get my ribbon on there. So I'm just gonna put a strip of paper on here. So I'm gonna take a strip of paper to connect it. So I'm gonna use my, where's my glue? I can actually just use tape, but glue might be a little bit easier. Where's my glue? There it is. So I'm going to, this is perfect. So I'm gonna take this, and I'm just gonna put some glue right here at the bottom of that. A little bit of glue here at the bottom of that. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I put glue here, and I put some glue here, and now I'm gonna connect them with this strip. Hopefully it's wide enough. I'm just putting them together, and there's that. Sometimes it's hard to put ribbon, a strip of ribbon on there when they're not. I need to do it down here, folks. It's just gonna be easier for me. Now I can do it. I needed it to butt up against this right here so that it would stay. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect because that ribbon is going around that edge. I need to move that though. Hold on here. It's not on there perfect. It's just needs to be moved a little. There we go. I have to get some more glue on there. Maybe try doing one side at a time. Might make it a little easier. So now I can, you see how that just goes on there now? There we go. That was better. Now we're even. And now I'm gonna trim off this little piece of cardstock that's just kind of, woo, we almost had a disaster. Hanging off that edge. Perfect. Okay, so this one, I just think that would be really pretty. Sending hugs. Can do that right above the ribbon maybe, sending hugs. We'll see how that goes. Maybe love and support we don't need. I think we might just go with sending hugs. Okay, let me get my stuff out of the way here. Let's get down to brass tacks. And see, you even have a little bit of a piece left over for another card if you want it. So just a recap on what we're doing here is that I showed you how that you could, with one stamp, you could create a really pretty, just a nice little stamped base and have a little pretty floral down the back side and the front, and that's just your card. Or you could stamp this and cut it in half and get a 2-for-1. So let's get down to this card. Where did my ribbon go? It's amongst this mess somewhere. It's right here. And I am just gonna take some double-sided tape. You can do glue dots, double-sided tape, whatever you like. Tonight I'm gonna use some double-sided tape. And I am going to put my double-sided tape, pull that in half. I'm gonna bring my double-sided tape right up here where my ribbon is gonna meet it. Should have brought that other side further up, but that's okay. So now I'm gonna peel that off. And bring my ribbon just around that edge, just right there at the top. See, I'm bringing it right there to the top. And I'm bringing it over just like so. Cut it off. And voila, our ribbon is wrapped around. You could even put a little bit of double-sided tape underneath as well to kind of hold it down a little. I think I'm gonna do that kind of in the middle underneath here. So I'm gonna take some double-sided tape and pop it in here just to kind of hold that down. A little bit of tape there. And now I'm gonna take it and just lay it down. Voila, okay? And where's my sample? I basically just glued this down flush at the bottom. Easy as that. And I am going back over that ribbon with my glue, just to keep it down. You could use more double-sided tape there if you want to, but the glue should work. Oops, wrong way. So there it is. Just like that. And look how pretty. So pretty. And now our sentiment, I'm gonna pop that up on some dimension right here, and then we'll get some gems on that. Just a little, I'm gonna double it up though. Fold that over. And I'm only gonna put it across the top because the bottom hangs over that edge. So I'm just gonna pop that right there because I like it there. So it kind of like is this tiered look right there. Really pretty. And then I'll get some gems on there. In here. These are really pretty monochromatic. Ooh, so pretty. Ooh, I love it. Gem jewel picker. Basically making this go quicker by replacing it where I had it in this sample. Come on. There's that. There's that. And a little, these little gems remind me of like stuff you decorate cake with. Those little sugar things. And then we'll do a couple more here. Just gonna do one here. Over. Come on. I think it's time to clean off my jewel picker. There we go. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Welcome. Okay, go quick. So there it is, our beautiful little monochromatic card. So pretty. Sometimes it's kind of nice to have a nice little monochromatic card. All right, next one. I need some more in there. Set these aside. Let's do this one. Let's do the one I'm gonna put my ribbon around the middle. Same thing here, I'm gonna use some double-sided tape on each side. Kind of easy to see where it goes. Our little strip, connecting strip there. So we'll start with one. I think I want it to come down as far as possible without it showing the... And I think while I have this here, I am going to go ahead and put my double-sided tape in the middle a little bit. So I'm going to put that about right here to kind of hold that ribbon down. It doesn't bow on us. Throw this around. It's pretty. Cut that off. And just pop it around. There it is. That's really pretty too. I like that. All right. I think I do want it to be on the ribbon. So I could have cut out multiples of my sentiment, and that would have helped give it some dimension. But if I had been thinking about that, I would have done that, but I wasn't, so I don't have it. I'm gonna just use some foam tape here. I'm gonna kind of cut that in half for both of these. What are we doing this evening? Well, I showed everybody how to get a 2-for-1 with this big large stamp, or you can do a 1 card and it's a fold over. So you have a little bit of your floral on the front and the back. This was the first card we created. So it has a little bit of floral on the back side, a folding, and so you fold that and you see it on the back and it's on the front. So there's that. And then now I showed them how to cut that in half. So that whole piece, instead of cutting off the bottom, it's now I stamped it again and I actually cut it in half at the 5.5 mark, and we have a 2-for-1. This is one of them that I'm doing right now. This is the top half, and we also used the BetterPress. So kind of go in between there. We're sticking that sentiment. Oh, well, if I had been paying attention, I would have seen that. Let's get that off of there. Oh, I bent my paper. Silly woman. There, fixed. Okay, so there's the sending. I hope that makes sense. Kelly, I hope it makes sense. It's the same image, but now cut in half instead of folded over. I think that might help with the explanation a little bit. Yes, yes, I would love to see you. Yay. Okay. We still have your die. And trim that off. All right. Next sentiment. Glue it on a card base, get some gems on there, and it will be done. So I'm thinking that works just like so. If we do kind of like a little puzzle, just lay that down. That turned out pretty. Sending hugs. Glue it to our base. That base. right here, it goes on full front with no edges at all. And voila. Put some gems on there. This one I am going to kind of lay out and see what I get here. Some smaller. Somehow I'm picking up all the big ones here. Let's see. That's pretty. I might just go simple. I think we'll just go simple with this one and go Everybody else have the same syndrome that I have, that it has to be 5, 3, you know, the 1, 3, 5. Maybe let's do that. Let's put some of these in here instead. Get some of these in the centers. Maybe on a leaf over here. I kind of like that. Although it gets a little lost because it's monochromatic. I like it, but I think it gets lost. I don't know that you can really see it very well. So I think I'm gonna just go with I'm gonna just do a little cluster. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe 3 and 3. How's that? Let's try a 3 and 3. Let's do it. I need a bigger piece here. Yeah, that's pretty. Let's do that. Sometimes it's hard to figure out gems. Yeah, my jewel picker needs to be like wiped off or something. I'm not sure. Okay. Trading hands. I need to work on using my left hand a little bit more. Oh, yay. Driving me nuts though. Just not very good. I think I can squeeze glue a little bit better with my left hand maybe. That's probably
she goes. Okay. Bring that up closer. You can see that. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's very bright underneath this light. It's kind of bright. Those gems look really pretty with it. You'll be able to see a close-up of it when I get the picture posted. All right, last card. Let's see, do I want, yeah, I wanted it this way, I believe. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my ribbon on first. So, gotta look at that again to see how I want that to look. Do I want some little white showing at the bottom? I think I do. I'm gonna do that. Okay, decided. Go ahead and cut that. Ooh, what a mess it is over here. Yeah, I know. I've got to have all odd numbers, but that one has even, but they're in odd clusters, so that works for me. So that should do it, and that should do it. Start on one side. Oh, I wanted to start on the other side, but never the mess. Never the mess. Nevertheless, I think that's about where I wanted it. Oh, we almost forgot. Let's put our double-sided tape down for the middle. So let's get that across the middle. Across evenly. There it is. Maybe as good as it gets. You know, we could really, that would be kind of pretty to pop this up on some dimension. Let's do that just for some fun and variety. I want to do that. I'm just going to pull off a bunch of tape. Obviously, let's do that again. We should be able to get all of this on there. It's not very thick dimension, so if we didn't get it all the way to the edge or whatever, it's kind of nice because it's not going to sag on us. And I'm just going to pop this here. Pull this off. And yes, because I want it centered just right, I am going to put a little glues on it so I have some wiggle room. Look at this huge mess I have going on here, guys. Some of you feel better. Some of you are having anxiety over it. So tell me, are you the full mess until it's over and clean it up? Or are you clean it up as you go along? Or do you make the mess and leave it there forever? I'm just curious. Thank you, Lindy. I think we're pretty good centered here. As good as it's gonna get. come down a little, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't see much plaid on this like I'd like to. I probably should have cut that down a little bit more so you could see a little bit, we could see the plaid a little bit better. If I'd have thought about it, I'd have cut that down a little bit more. I wonder if I could still do that. No, because we have glue on it. So nope, it's not working. We're just gonna keep it. So now this is gonna come here, and I'm gonna pop it on some dimension. Make a mess and clean it up when you're finished. Full mess for sure. That's funny. Well, guys, I'm a full mess, and sometimes I don't. When I'm at home, I don't get it picked up for a while. So here, I have to pick it up. I don't have a choice. But yeah, I'm gonna bring this here. Boy, I wish I'd done that different. Oh well. Do you ever have that happen where you're like, yeah, I definitely would have pulled off a little bit more at the bottom and on the sides. Yeah, 100% would have. I need more plaid. It's kind of like I need more cowbell. Definitely needs more cowbell. I like that plaid. It's really pretty and super easy to achieve. So don't forget, we're signing up for BetterPress Society July through December, and the subscription is live on our website right there next to BetterPress, and it says sign up for BetterPress subscription. Okay. Now let's get some gems on it. It's not the worst looking thing I've ever seen, but I just wish I had more plaid in the background. Clean when done. Y'all have me beat. Oh my goodness. Linda, I guess you and I are birds of a feather, huh? I'm gonna go with the bigger gems, and I'm gonna go kind of in the centers where we can actually see it and it kind of stands out a little bit more. So I think I'm just gonna go with three of the big gems, and I'm gonna put them, yeah, I think that's where I'm going with this. I think that's pretty, and I really like it. So I'll bring it up here where y'all can see it a little bit better. These are bigger and easier to deal with, so I'm just gonna pop that there. Drop it, pop it and drop it. Whoops, we almost dropped it in the glue. There. It doesn't have to be in person. The kickoff is in person, Candy. But I can ship you your BetterPress plates, and to be a part of the BetterPress Society, you do have perks. But one of the perks for sure is that we will be having a kickoff party, and it is here. I believe it's I'll have to look. It does say it on the BetterPress sign up. It does talk about it. I believe, see my phone's up there and y'all are right here. So I believe it is I'm trying to remember the dates, but I believe it's the third Friday of July. If you are interested and you want to know more about it, Candy, just shoot me an email and I will make sure I get that to you. I can even get you the link to sign up if you're interested. But we're having a light meal. I will create some samples where you can create them with your plates. You'll pick up your plates here. That's the first time the plates come in. So you'll pick them up here. But for the rest of the months, I can definitely ship them. But a lot of the benefits will probably be here in person. But as far as like we'll probably have some sales and things like that. That definitely you could take advantage of online. So, okay. Let's see. I do that too, Candy. Let's see, what did Candy say? But if it gets out of control, I have to take a break. I do that too, Candy. Sometimes it's just out of control. Oh, good, Candy. Well, come on. Get on the website, and if you need any help or guidance on how to sign up and how that works, it is a 6-month commitment to the BetterPress Society. So definitely, if you have any questions, reach out. Definitely. Okay, so here is our last card. I'm looking at it. It's not as bad as I thought. I just really wanted more plaid to show through. And here's our second card. And here is our first card. Just kind of lay these out and across so we can kind of take a last look at all of them. Oh, I got a mess. Imagine that. But it gets clean here. My office is a mess. Whew, is it a mess? It's always been that way. And there we go. So there it is. Our 3 cards that we finished. Yay! Yay. Thanks, you guys, for hanging in there with me. It was a little bit longer of a live than what I wanted it to be. It's about 20 minutes longer. But anyway, thank you, Candy. I appreciate that. So if you were to do this last card that we did, I would suggest that I did it at 3 3/4 by 5 so that we would have more plaid showing, but I would actually recommend it to be, I would recommend this one being 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. If I were to do this one over again, that's what I would definitely do to this one. I would cut off at this end for the 4 3/4. So anyway, all right. Thank you, Lindy. Oh, thank you, Kelly, and thanks, Candy, Lindy, and Kelly. Ooh, all the E's at the end. All right, guys, and Linda, if you're still here, thanks for joining me too. I'll have to scroll back through to see who else was. So Linda was here too. Thanks to all of you who hopped on, and I appreciate it. So take care, guys. Have a blessed rest of your night and week.